Because you can be vegan even though you eat eggs. Sounds absurd, right? Hear me out, I will explain what's behind it. Veganism is an ethical shaped lifestyle. Vegans ideally want to cause no suffering. Unfortunately, in this strange world, that's not possible. But we can get very close to the goal by causing as little suffering as possible. By applying various methods, such as eliminating animal product from one's life. This does not only refer to nutrition. In this video, however, I only want to talk about nutrition. Other animal products, like leather or similar, are easy to replace, although we would have to talk here about what the best choice is as well, because vegan substitute products are also not free from problems. What vegans often forget is that they must apply their ethical principles not only to the environment and the animals, but also to their own existence. That means a balance must be found between the well-being of the animals and the environment and one's own existence, one's own health. Because what's the point if the animals suffer less, but you fall apart? This video is also only directed at the vegans who are already doing everything right, although I doubt that you're doing everything right and being consistent. You are welcome to prove me the opposite and come to my coaching. Anyways, you are doing everything right and still struggling. If you live vegan and enjoy the best health, forget about that video. It's not for you. But you are vegan and you're doing everything right and you are at the end, but you don't want to turn your back on veganism, then first, follow for more. Exactly in this case, you have to eat eggs and still remain vegan because you're bringing your own interests and your ethical beliefs into harmony. But this only works if you pay attention to the following. The original definition of the vegan society says, veganism is a philosophy and way of living which seeks to exclude, as far as is possible and practicable, all forms of exploitation and cruelty to animals. So, as far as possible and practicable, this passage is decisive. It means that veganism is a guideline, not a dogmatic all or nothing commandment. The core of veganism is not the avoidance of a specific ingredient, but the minimization of suffering. Animals should not be exploited or tortured. That should be your highest goal. You too, we are sentient beings as well. If we are so limited in our health that we have less energy, less quality of life, and fewer opportunities to do good, then we indirectly increase the suffering in the world, our own and that of the people around us. Next, the eggs must come from hens that live as freely as possible, are treated very well, get the best feed, or can pick their own food in their natural environment, providing eggs of the highest quality. And very importantly, there's no disposal of useless roosters. The best scenario would be your own backyard hens that are free and get the best feed, plus flax seeds for a high omega-3 content in the egg, and that have a long, unforced life. In many cases, this is not possible. But there are also wonderful farms and organic farmers who take very good care of their hens. And your intention must be in place too. You have to be grateful and you have to honor this wonderful and valuable food and use it to make yourself healthier and better in order to do good in the world and give something back to this world and nature. The rest of your diet must remain plant-based, of course, with the best and highest quality foods that supply you with all nutrients, so that you still do not have to eat meat and do not have to participate in factory farming. Only under these circumstances can you remain vegan, even though you eat eggs. Today, I will explain to you why eggs are the best choice for this and what they can do, what they can especially offer you that might be missing in a vegan diet. As hinted in my last milk video, eggs are a nutrient bomb in a compact form and are hardly surpassed in nutrient density. A chicken egg unites in concentrated form practically all known essential nutrients that the human body needs, with the exception of vitamin C and dietary fiber. It provides high-quality complete protein with all essential amino acids in an optimal ratio, as well as a variety of fat-soluble vitamins such as A, D, E, and K. Among the water-soluble vitamins are especially various B vitamins, including riboflavin, biotin, folate, and above all, vitamin B12, which is hard to obtain in a purely plant-based diet. At least they say so. The yolk contains plenty of choline, which is important for brain function, liver health, and cell membrane structure, as well as significant amounts of minerals such as iron, zinc, selenium, phosphorus, and calcium. In addition, eggs are a source of omega-3 fatty acids, especially when the hens have been fed flaxseed or algae-rich feed. And they also contain bioactive carotenoids such as lutein and zeaxanthin, which protect the eyes from oxidative stress. Through this combination of macro and micronutrients paired with high bioavailability, eggs are considered one of the most complete natural foods of all. In this table, you see a summary of the nutrients with some functions, why they are critical for vegans, and how many eggs to eat to obtain relevant amounts. Pause right here and take a screenshot for later, so you also know what to do. I want to give you a few practical tips and a guide for consumption to get the most out of eggs for your health. As mentioned, the source and quality of the eggs are essential. I made a video about food quality. Watch it. There you will learn everything you need to know. Generally, the egg quality gets better the smaller the farm or the more influence you can have on the hen's food and life. So the optimum would be your own backyard hens that you cuddle and sing and read a good night story to, and that pick a lot of grass and worms and also get flaxseed and chlorella in the highest quality. This way the eggs become incredibly nutrient rich with a high proportion of secondary plant compounds, and you can even solve the number one vegan problem, which is omega-3 fatty acid. But even if the hens get a lot of fresh grass, the eggs will be richer in omega-3. If the proportion of grains in their diet is high, the eggs will have a higher omega-6 content. I know, this is not always possible. Find your way. High quality eggs can be recognized by an organic certification, whereby the certification with higher standards are always better, such as the German organic labels Demeter, Naturland, or Bioland. They have the strictest regulations. Find similar certifications in your area. Fresh eggs can be recognized by sinking to the bottom and lying flat in a glass of water. Older eggs stand upright and float. An intense deep yellow to orange yolk indicates carotenoid-rich feed such as herbs, greens, or corn, which also increases the content of antioxidants like lutein, as well as omega-3 fatty acids. The darker the color, the more nutrient-rich. Also, a firm, clearly separated egg white and an undamaged, clean egg with a hard shell indicate good quality. Now you have managed to find the best eggs, but it brings you little if you prepare them wrongly and combine them incorrectly. Then you can forget it. That means no frying, baking, or even deep frying. Treating with high heat and using fats or oils, forget about that. Instead, eat the yolk raw and cook the egg white gently in water and low heat just until it becomes firm. For a while, I added 6 to 8 raw eggs into my smoothies. Super delicious if you do it the right way. And you don't even notice the egg taste. You can combine it well with blueberries, banana, and a few dates. Pro tip, add a delicious, healthy, clean vanilla protein powder to it. Something like this. Next level pro tip, add a tasty soy yogurt like this one. Add a little water and make a pudding out of it. Serve it in a pretty bowl and top it with a few berries and some fruit, as well as raw almond butter. Of course, there are many other variations, but believe me, this one rocks. You can drink the mixture as a liquid, delicious smoothie, or as I said, make a pudding out of it. It depends on the amount of water you add. Add oats to your potting and let them soak. Add this and that and others. You see, there's so many options. You know what I mean. If you're not ready to eat the yolk raw yet or never will be, cook the egg in a water bath briefly so that the yolk is still soft and liquid. It doesn't have to be half raw, but it should still be quite liquid. The more liquid yolk, the more nutrients are preserved. Most nutrients are in the yolk, not only the micronutrients, but also the fats and the proteins. The egg white mostly contains water and proteins. Now you know everything about it. Decide for yourself how you do it. Basically, you can combine the egg however you want. For example, with vegetables, healthy fats, and proteins. Just please don't waste or ruin the valuable and wholesome egg by frying it in any oil. So how many eggs should you include in your mostly vegan diet? It really depends on you and your goals. When I experiment with nutrients or foods, I like to start by adding a lot to my diet. Often not a great idea. For example, when I discovered that beans are amazing, I immediately ate 150 to 200 grams of raw beans, of course cooked, for a while, and after some time I realized I always had to eat dinner alone. Don't be as dumb as I was back then. If you have never eaten a food or taken a nutrient before, start with small amounts and work your way up. You could start with 2 to 4 eggs per week and gradually increase to see what effects they might have on you. In general, when experimenting with natural foods or nutrients, you should take them consistently for at least 3 months, often even 6 to 12 months or longer. But I hear you asking again, how many eggs should I eat? Find out for yourself. 2 to 4 per week can already help balance nutrient deficiencies, or you could eat 2 to 10 per day. It depends on your goals and your individual body. Figure it out yourself. Also listen to your body. There may be phases when you feel like eating more or fewer eggs. Time them to help compensate for deficiencies. For example, winter for vitamin D, periods of high mental stress for choline. Eggs are biochemically extremely complex. A chicken egg is essential complete development package for a chick. It contains everything needed to turn a single cell into a living being. Just wow. This means, besides the well-known nutrients, vitamins, minerals, fatty acids, amino acids, there are hundreds of bioactive molecules, many of which are not fully characterized. These include peptides, enzymes, growth factors, antioxidants, signaling molecules, and even substances that might trigger epigenetic effects on humans. Eggs are multidimensional nutrient packages, not just egg white plus yolk, but complex biochemical systems. Even with modern lab technology, we probably only know the tip of the iceberg of their contents. So far, about 40 to 50 nutrients have been fully classified, like the ones mentioned. Another 200 have been identified, but are far from fully researched and understood. These include carotenoids, sphingolipids, oligosaccharides, specific peptide sequences with blood pressure lowering or antioxidant effects, immunomodulators, and antimicrobial proteins like lysozymes. And probably there are hundreds more we don't know nothing about. These substances can only be discovered through targeted molecular analysis. A small example, only in the last 15 years have substances like ovotransferrin peptides been identified in eggs which have antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. Previously, they weren't even listed as nutrients. Now let's switch to the most important part of the video, which you've been waiting for, right? Why is all this so important? First, because of synergy effects. Many of these micro and nano components work together. Even if you supplement B12, DHA, or choline individually, you might miss other synergistic compounds that enhance absorption, stability, or effectiveness. Another important point is that eggs provide not just building material, proteins, fats, minerals, but also biological signaling molecules that influence metabolism, the immune system, and cell repair. And finally, the unknown potential. Since only a small fraction of bioactive compounds are fully studied, some of their health effects likely come from factors we cannot yet fully name. I too have integrated eggs into my diet after 7 years of 100% plant-based eating. Vegan. I've been traveling through Europe for 3 years now, and you can't always find high-quality eggs. So sometimes I don't eat them. My life doesn't depend on them, but they benefit me. My digestion has improved since then, and my energy levels are higher, which makes sense. If you provide your body with nutrients it can use directly rather than having to painstakingly assemble them at a higher energy cost, more energy is available for other things. It also has drawbacks. As mentioned, the nutrient conversion process becomes less efficient over time, and others. And that's it. And again, I saved you. Therefore,